Here we go, let's go ahead and dive into it. Inside Strand, Guardians, prepare to unlock the mysteries of Strand. In Destiny 2 Lightfall, players will gain access to a brand new elemental power to add to the current lineup of Void, Arc, Solar, and Stasis. Like its predecessors, Strand will offer players exciting new abilities and powers to dominate the battlefield, along with the new wrinkles that promise to change the way Guardians think about the traversal and combat. With Strand, Guardians will be wielding the fabric of the universe in ways that will be formidable threat to anyone who stands in their way. The Strand trailer for Lightfall shows all three Guardians classes using Strand to deadly effect and provides an action-packed overview of what to expect. Alright, this is the trailer I was looking forward to. I hope it's nuts.
Strand flows through you as it flows through everything. Now is the time to lean into using Strand, not back away from it.
Yeah, I saw that the Titan did 3 melee attacks. Whoa, what is that? Man just freaking did the Peter Parker. Wait, hold on, I'm missing stuff. Threadlings, Cabalians. Okay, we see the Titan doing the barricade exotic. He's just going in there and smacking Berserker, the ultimate force. Yeah, bro? What was that? He just flew in like Superman style. Hunter, the threadrunner. Majestic music for the Hunter.
Embrace where the current takes you.
Hey, yo? He popped a rift and threadlings came out. Okay, that's the Hunter melee that's bouncing through targets. Alright, honestly, highlight of the video was seeing the Warlock throw up the freaking signs that Peter Parker did that first time he was trying to web sling, dude. He was like, Shazam! You know, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, here we're taking a deep look into what players can expect from Strand, including a class-by-class breakdown of how each Guardian class will be plucking at the strings of the universe to play sweet, destructive music. From the neon-drenched streets of Neptune's street city of Neomuna to Guardians soaring through the sky by grappling to an enemy spaceship, it's been clear from the start that Lightfall is different. Yes, things are coming to a head of the ultimate chapter of the Light and Darkness saga, but Lightfall's influences and inspirations prove that there has been plenty of room for the team to let loose, to revel in their creativity and craft, and to have some fun. One of the touches the team drew from was the bombast and flair of the 1980s action cinema. Think of an era of film where no explosion was too big and no action set piece was too over the top. The aesthetic informed much of the Lightfall's tone, and it certainly had a big influence on Strand itself. Even before it was formerly known as Strand, the team had many concepts for the Damage Type 5, as it was originally called in development, before aligning on the feature set and lore that brought it to life. As Yanes puts it, there wasn't a single aha moment where all the threads of Strand fell neatly into place. Instead, it was a result of a continuous dialogue with the team about what would make for exciting gameplay, what would make sense from a narrative standpoint, and how they could make those ideas manifest in the game. Through these discussions, Damage Type 5 slowly morphed into something a bit more specific, then called Dark Telekinesis, which evolved further, eventually manifesting into what you see today. We had lots of conversations around where the weaves came from and trying to reinforce the physical language for how it manifests and how it looks, to make it feel like it was one of the same darkness family as Stasis, Ian said. The more the team talked, the more the concepts and evocative language that describes Strand with terms and descriptors like weaves, tangles, and universal strings of consciousness came to be. It's everyone building on everyone's idea, said designer Eric Smith. How we choose to implement these things affects how we talk about it and vice versa, like weaving objects instead of spawning objects or summoning objects. It becomes part of the aesthetic. They really care about that terminology. So weaving seems like it's going to be part of the term right there, huh? To understand Strand, let's first start with some vocabulary. Creating an object using Strand is weaving, okay? Defeating an enemy affected by Strand will unravel them, disconnecting their life force from the weave and creating a tangle. Left behind if a Strand debuffed enemy is defeated, a tangle is swirling bundle of Strand fibers. These bundles of Strand explode when shot, causing area damage to nearby targets. Guardians can also pick up tangles and throw them to deadly effect. So they explode when shot, causing area damage. It sounds like Warmind cells. On the debuff side, there are 3 new terms to know. Suspend, unravel, and sever. Okay, 3 additional terms. Suspend. A suspended PvE enemy is lifted off the ground for a brief duration and essentially disabled. In PvP, suspended players are lifted off the ground but can still... It's completely different in Crucible though, right? In PvP, suspended... I mean, why am I suspended? Huh? What did I do, man? Did I forget to do my homework? Did I show up late to class? Why am I getting suspended in Crucible? Jesus Christ, bro. Are lifted off the ground but can still move, albeit slowly. Bruh. So it's another slow. And I can fire my weapons to fight back. Yeah, I mean, I could do the same thing when I get slowed by stasis, but like, it sounds kind of sus. It sounds sus. Slowly. I'm rooted. That's a root ability. 100%. I'm getting rooted. Unravel. Attacking an unraveled enemy will cause threads to burst out of the target and attack other nearby targets. Once hit, that target will also become unraveled. All right. Sever. A severed enemy is less capable of affecting the material world, reducing their damage output as a result. The major buff coming with Strand is Woven Mail. With this ability, the Guardian is sheathed into a protective mesh of Strand matter, reducing incoming damage. Note that in PvP, Woven Mail would only reduce damage taken on the body. Head damage and melee damage will continue as normal. Okay, that's big brain. All right. I'm not gonna lie, they had me in the first half. I was... My heart, man. My soul left my body. But the fact that headshot damage will still stay similar. I mean, like it won't get affected by the resist. I like that. I mean, it's better than headshots and body shots taking reduced damage, you know what I mean? But that's interesting though. Won't that make you more resistant to shotguns? I mean, sniper body shots, fusion rifles more resistant to that, of course. And notice how they mentioned melee damage, but not grenade damage. I would have liked to have resist against grenade abilities, to be honest. That would have been an awesome like answer to the ability spam inside of the game. This is some sick concept art. Look at that. One of the most exciting new abilities in Guardian Strand Toolkit is the Grapple. Yeah, I mean, that's literally all you're showing me in the trailers. With this ability, players can press the grenade button and their Guardian will weave a hook from Strand matter, which they can grab onto and anchor a point. The grappling hook will then begin contracting, pulling the Guardian along. Strand's grapple can create its own grapple points out of thin air, so you can always propel yourself through the sky even if there's not a solid surface to latch onto, which is sick. We've known that, but really sick. Guardians will also be able to execute melee strikes during or at the end of the grapple, known as grapple melee, which will deal bonus damage, unravel an enemy, and push them backwards. If you played a little bit of Halo Infinite, you kind of can't imagine how that plays out. You go into the grapple and then you just punch immediately. I like that. It's going to have some good flow. When we were developing the concept around ropes and string, we felt like it was the perfect opportunity to add grapple into the game, said Smith. You never want to shoehorn something in for the sake of interaction that isn't natural. It has to be the right time, the right situation. The stars aligned for something like that there. Strand really came into life for him when the team started seeing the power of the grapple when combined with other elements of Strand. When we got to things like Tangles Online, we started realizing that the gameplay here is incredibly novel, interesting, and new when you have to do all these quick context switches between grappling and slamming and throwing a tangle. All these things can happen in a quick succession and rewards the player for having a high APM, actions per minute, which is not really a thing we have had in the game at all before. Ooh, intrigued after saying, you know, the APM stuff, because that sounds like fun, bro. If you can like time things perfectly, you know, chain it. I love the whole chaining like movements and abilities. Like you kind of have to get the right timing, right? I like that a lot. We have not had that in Destiny too much. Maybe we've seen it before, but like it's unintentional. I mean, the only thing I can really like mention that comes to mind is like just skating with like Icarus Dash or Twilight Garrison from Destiny 1. I defeat an enemy with a melee ability and they unwind into a tangle. I grapple onto the tangle, which refunds my grapple, and snatch the tangle out of midair. I then hurl the tangle at a group of enemies in the distance, grappling onto the tangle again when it flies and pulls me through the air behind it. As the tangle nears a group of enemies, I slam downward onto my grapple to suspend the lone enemy who split off from the group, while the tangle slams into the rest of the group and explodes. There's a lot of these cool dynamic interactions built into Strand that makes it feel unique. Okay. All right. So they really want us to chain abilities. I hope it plays out like that or even better. From the start, these new mobility options will change the way you play, but it doesn't end there. Each Guardian class will interact with and wield Strand in a unique way, with new abilities and powerful perks to explore and customize. Here's how it breaks down. Y'all ready? Oh, let's see what each character gets. I feel like they're going to make the Warlock so OP because this character has been complaining that they are so not mana, they're so bad in PvE and PvP. It's like, oh man, dude, they hate us. Warlock broodweaver. The Warlock is our Strand minion master. When explaining how Destiny 2's masters of all things space, magical will utilize Strand. To understand how Warlocks will bend Strand to their will, you have to understand threadlings. Okay, that's their identity, right? Threadlings. Threadlings are explosive minions woven from Strand matter, he said. The Warlock broodweaver, being a cerebral type, is more in tune with threadlings than the other classes. All threadlings will run forward, jump on enemies, and explode, but only the Warlock threadlings will return to the Warlock and travel with them if they can find a target. Ah, that might miss. Oof. It reminds me of like Warlocks grenades, like the axiom bolts and stuff, going to like the other void subclasses, but it's like, oh, but the Warlock can overcharge the grenade, but it wasn't enough, right? What else? Like the you know how they did the arc subclass, like they gutted it. Another example is the healing grenades on the solar subclass. It's like, oh, all classes get the healing grenade, but Warlocks get restoration times too. But like we've seen, that was not really enough to make Warlocks feel like they had their own identity. Like they felt like, you know, their own power fantasy fitted for them. But only time will tell. I hope they don't repeat the same mistake, but here it's kind of implying that all classes, you know, more or less will have a way to really have fun with the threadlings, but only the Warlocks get to return to the Warlock and travel with them if they can't find a target. Okay. Let's say I have 3 threadlings and I only need 2 of them to defeat an enemy. If I'm a Warlock, the last one is going to run back, hop onto me, and condense down into a form that is orbiting me, known as perching. Okay. That sounds sick. It's going to orbit me. So they love giving Warlocks buddies, right? They love that buddy system with the Warlocks. Arc Souls with the Warlock, the Child of Old Gods, the Void Soul buddy, you know what I mean? And now we have a Strand buddy. He's going to come back, orbit me, and he's going to be perching. Then the next time I attack an enemy, it will pop off and attack the same enemy, which really gives it the sense of having these minions that are doing my bidding. They love me and they want to come back and hang out with me. All right, so interesting, right? They go out, they come back, but it's Child of the Old Gods, but it comes back and then it attacks when I shoot someone. I hope it plays much more different. But it's not just summoning and wielding threadlings that the Warlocks excel. With their Strand melee attack, Warlocks cast Arcane Needle, a deadly projectile which tracks targets, causing high damage and unraveling them upon impact. Warlocks will be able to quickly chain 3 Arcane Needle attacks in a row. Warlocks have 2 Strand aspects to utilize, and it's here where threadlings once again enter play. We get to know the aspects already? Oh shit, okay. Weaver's Call. On Rift Cast, the Warlock weaves 3 threadling eggs, which hatch onto threadlings when they hit a surface. Any perch threadlings are converted into additional eggs. Reminds me of the stasis rift on the Warlock. You know, you pop a rift and you freeze. All right. I mean, sounds like fun for PvE. The Mind Spun Invocation. This aspect improves several of the Warlock's abilities. Grapple. When you execute a grapple melee, the Warlock weaves 3 threadling eggs from the target. So that's like grappling and then going for like the melee punch. Yeah, totally. And we make 3 eggs. Interesting. And then I'm assuming these are going to perch on me or something like that. The Threadling Grenade. Oh, we have a Threadling Grenade. You can consume your Threadling Grenade to generate a full complement of perch Threadlings. And those are the ones that when you shoot somebody, they go flying out. The Shackle Grenade. Oh, shackling. You can consume your shackle grenade to gain a buff, creating a suspending detonation on every kill. Suspending detonation, huh? Interesting. All right. I mean, I like this one for PvE for sure. It's kind of like Devour, but, you know, instead of getting health back, you're suspending enemies. The Warlock's telekinesis abilities culminate with their super Needle Storm. That's the name. A deadly combination of burst damage and aerial denial. On cast, the Warlocks conjure Strand matter into a full fusillade of hardening spikes, launching them forwards with a wave of their hand. The missiles will stick into enemies in the environment of light before detonating and reweaving themselves into an army of threadlings that will hunt down any survivors. Next up is the Hunter. About to be the PvP meta right here. Hunter Threadrunner. While every Strand Guardian class will have access to the grapple and the array of mobility options it brings, the Hunter takes movement and speed to an entirely new level, of course. From attacking multiple enemies at once while in midair, to using a new rope dart weapon that benefits from maximum agility, it's no wonder that playing the Threadrunner has been compared to the thrill of watching a superhero come to life. The Threadrunner's melee attack, Threaded Spike, has the Hunter hurling out a rope dart that bounces between enemies, damaging and severing them before returning to the Hunter. Upon its return, it grants melee energy for each enemy hit. Hunters can catch the rope dart by pressing the melee input button at the right time. Perfecting that timing will earn the player an additional amount of melee energy. Oh! 2 Strand aspects will be available. Let's take a look. The Ensnaring Slam. While in the air, press the air move input to slam downwards, suspending on nearby enemies. Wow. It's Shatter Die, but in green. It's just, so it was a predictable ability coming. I don't expect it to be bad, it's just nothing crazy here. Widow's Silk. This aspect grants an additional grenade charge. The Hunter's grapple ability creates a persistent grapple tangle when it latches, which fully refunds grenade energy when grappled to. Hunters can use this ability to set up a chain of grapple points so their entire team can use, greatly enhancing their ability to quickly move around in combat or traverse the environment. That sounds sick! Dude, so the Hunters can use this ability to set up chains of grapple points that the entire team can use. Bro, that sounds sick! I like the thought of that. The lethal combination of grapple and rope dart converge with the Threadrunner Super Silk Strike. When activated, the Hunter uses their grapple to freely move through the world in third-person view, while also throwing the rope dart and strike down enemies. Hunters will be able to use grapple more often during the super, and the rope dart features both a light and heavy attack. The light attack is meant for single opponents and can be used in air and on the ground. When on the ground, the Hunter can chain attack seamlessly. Hitting an enemy with the tip of the dart deals bonus damage, and defeating an enemy with it causes the enemy to explode. The heavy attack has the Hunter swing the rope dart around in a 360-degree arc, damaging all nearby enemies. As with the light attack, this can be used on the ground or in the air. Alright, seems like a pretty straightforward roaming super. Titan Berserker. Oh my goodness, bro. I hope they don't destroy you, buddy. I hope they don't destroy you, man. I hope they didn't do you dirty, man. They did Stasis Titan so dirty. Let's see what happens. Titan Berserker. The hulking mass of a guardian stands before a squad of enemies, ignoring their paltry taunts. Without warning, gigantic blades made of tightly woven strand metal surround her hands, and she leaps into the fray, powerful blades whirling in fury. The Titan's powerful woven gauntlets slice through scores of her foes, and the enemies of humanity tremble. From the start, the fantasy for the Strand-wielding Titan Berserker was wild, untamed power. As this subclass name suggests, the Titan uses Strand in ways that ensure maximum carnage, with in-your-face attacks that can sever enemies in mass before they are permanently deleted. The Titan's Strand melee ability is Frenzied Blade. Oh, that sounds sick. With the press of a melee button, the Titan dashes forward and slashes at enemies with their Strand arm blades, severing victims and decreasing their damage output. With a default set of 3 charges, Titans can chain these slashes together for maximum offensive power. Decreased damage output. This doesn't seem like it's going to be nice. In PvE, like, the dregs die to a basic melee, like, they get one shot already pretty much. Titans will also be able to utilize a pair of aspects. Okay. Please be good. Into the fray. Destroying a tangle weaves woven mail into the guardian and nearby allies. Bruh. Armor? It's literally Titan Barricade like the overshield, but I have to destroy a tangle weave. In addition to reducing damage taken, this aspect also increases the Titan melee energy regeneration when wearing woven mail. Bruh. It's literally like You know that aspect on the Titan, you have overshield, you get a grenade cooldown? Bruh. Dringer's Lash. When the Titan casts or class ability, the Titan will blast forward a powerful ripple into reality, suspending enemies that are caught into the shockwave's path. I'm a hunter main! The Titan's Berserker Super Blade Fury sees the Titan dual wield in first place and roaming in the battlefield attack. The Super light attack, a supercharged version of the Frenzy Blade melee attack. Wow. And each light attack that connects increases the next attack speed. Wow. In addition, connecting with light attacks also builds energy for the super heavy attack with each hit. With the heavy attack, the Titan throws a pair of projectiles forward that seek out enemies, suspending and damaging the main attack. Wow, man. Incredible, bro. I can't wait to punch more on a Titan, dude. Elsewhere, Strand will see 3 new grenades, including Grapple, which is controlled with the grenade button. The Thrilling Grenade splits into 3 projectiles that weave into Thrillings upon impact. The Shackle Grenade effectively acts as a bola, detonating and suspending a blast and sending a smaller secondary bolas to suspend nearby enemies. Finally, it wouldn't be a new element of power in Destiny 2 without new fragments to explore and customize your Strand-wielding Guardian. Okay, here we go, game-changing moment. Thread of Ascent. Activating your grenade ability reloads your equipped weapons and grants increased weapon handling and airborne effect. Oh! You get free AE just for throwing a grenade, right? That's sick. That's gonna be nice. Dude, the grapple. You literally just grapple and you have bonus AE. Yes! Thread of Fury. Damaging targets with the Tangle grants melee energy. Thread of Finality. Finishers generate thrillings. Thread of Warding. Taking up an overpowered grants Hooven Mel. From enemy seeking thrilling minions to bombastic supers to game-changing new mobility options, Strand is bringing the host of unique abilities to every Guardian's arsenal. Prepare to conjure and weave yourself in Destiny 2 Lightfall when it launches on my birthday. Hunter sounds like the most fun, literally just the most fun, unique, creative subclass right now for both PvE and PvP. Warlock sounds like the most like power fantasy, chill subclass. You just want to see like crazy like particles on your screen. It's like, oh my god, look at these like flying shits, bro. The game's doing everything for me character. It looks awesome. I'm awesome. It's for PvE, I'm cracked character. Titan looks like you know, it's just like they just get King Kong, you know, like he just comes out in the game. Me Titan, I got green crayon. I punch, and guess what else I do? I punch. All right, GG. So that was nice. Looking forward to it.